Well, it's that time of year again, Thanksgiving. And here in the southern Appalachians, we all have different traditions. Each family has their own get-togethers, their own little things and ways of doing Thanksgiving. So I know y'all have your special memories too, growing up. So I'm going to share a little story with you of a Thanksgiving at Aunt Ma's. Well, it's Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So we're all going to head up to Aunt Ma's and getting this old finger mashing forward. I don't know how many times I've mashed my finger. And we head on through Minnesboro, on across the Cumberland Mountain. We have to stop at Cudjoe's to get some cigarettes. That's always a must. And we head on down through the Gap on our way to Powell Valley. Such a beautiful place. And we'd been here a couple of weeks before. As soon as the frost starts frosting, there's always a hog kill. Always getting meat up for the winter, selling hogs or butchering hogs. And they would render to the lard. We'd help them out, skin the hogs, render to the lard, and cut them up. Put them in the smokehouse. They really enjoyed doing that. That's just an old tradition here in these mountains for the meat. And we go on down into Powell Valley and get on the old Back Valley Road. Down the old country store. And we're down here in the Back Valley here, not far from Powell River. And we can see Ma's house in the distance. It just thrills my heart to remember these times. And it don't matter when you come. Old Claude and Aunt Ma was always on the porch waiting for you, seems like. And my cousins got here before we did this time. These knot-headed boys. They're good guys, but every once in a while, we always get into it. And before you know it, we're always fighting. It don't matter. We're always fighting. Well, I always get blamed for it, even if I ain't have nothing to do with it. Go break a switch off a limb. That's the worst thing. But these women usually got so much to do that they're busy firing up the stove, doing a lot of cooking. And we usually keep our time occupied in the evening. It gets darker this time of year. We'd have checker matches for who was the champion, just play up late up into the evening. But I'd rather sit and listen to old Claude. He'd tell me all these stories about it when he was growing up and how he used to hunt and I'd ask him questions. He loved to hunt as a young man, and he still does today, but he can't get around like he used to. But I loved to ask him his stories. He'd tell me stories about his uncles and his dad. They used to hunt in these old mountains and kill turkey, actually kill turkey for Thanksgiving. Well, I didn't think there was no such a thing growing up as a turkey or a deer in these mountains. But he'd tell me all these old stories. And we'd all pile up around the house everywhere, every bedroom, every couch, and we'd all go to sleep. Early next morning, the women of the house, Grandma, Aunt Mel, Mom, and all the other aunts and uncles, they'd all get together and start cooking Thanksgiving. It was a busy time for these women, but they enjoyed it. And they cooked on an old stove like this, the old Mill Masters. This was the stove of the day, coal or wood. They loved these stoves. And the men of the house, would take the boys out, and we'd do some rabbit hunting on Thanksgiving morning, just to get out of the women's face. They had so much to do, and we loved these boys did. But we mostly just went just to hear the dogs run the rabbits. Oh man, there ain't nothing better than hearing an old dog run these rabbits, get right on them. I loved it. And when we wasn't doing that, sometimes, if you had time, we'd go to these shooting matches, the turkey shoots. And all that really consists of was shotguns is what I went to. We'd hang a pie plate out and mark an X in it about 25, 30 yards out. And whoever shot shot the closest to that X won. And we'd usually just win turkeys or a ham, and sometimes they'd win a little cash, but that's about it. I really enjoyed them turkey shoots. And we head on back to Miles here. It's getting late in the afternoon, and if the television's working, if we can pick up a channel, we'll watch the Thanksgiving parade if it's not too late. We kids usually like to watch that stuff. And then it's about time for dinner. And them women have fixed such a big dinner. I can't imagine or even mention all the things that was on that table. And of course, the old turkey. Of course, these are not wild turkeys. There wasn't none back in that day right there, hardly. These were just store-bought turkeys. And my dad always give the blessing on Thanksgiving. He loved to do it, and we loved to listen to it. This is a picture of me with my dad back when I was about 6 or 7 years old. And we'd all be all over this house eating. There's just so many of us. There's not enough tables. I've even eaten on the porch. And after that, kids kind of settle down, go back to playing checkers and relaxing, and we'd all have talks and stuff around. But this old outhouse out back, it seemed to be a busy place this time of year. I've seen times where you had to wait in line. And we'd all pile up around the house again, sleeping everywhere imaginable. Chairs, beds, every room would be full of something. Well, the next morning, we'd get up in this old finger mashing forward, and we'd head back towards the mining camp, back across Cumberland Mountain. I always loved to see these old sites. I can remember them so well. And we head up into the mining camp, and we seem like we always take a bunch of food back with us, leftovers. The trunk would be full of it. And we'd go around the mining camps that we know people is less fortunate, and we would share every bit of it with them. They really appreciate it. No matter how hard you had it, there's always somebody that had it less fortunate than you. So I hope you enjoyed this little story of growing up in the Appalachia during Thanksgiving. I really have fond memories of this. So I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.